What's going on, everybody? Deacon here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about life experiences. Not specifically sharing my own in this video, but just how it amazes me that when I have many conversations with people, just finding out their background, finding out where they're from, you can find people from two opposite backgrounds end up meeting in the same place because they were trying to achieve the same goal. Let's say they want to be an IT professional, or you can have individuals who come from a similar background, but once again, going two separate directions, two separate paths. You see somebody elevating to a good place, and you see some people who end up going down a dark path. Now, one thing I know for sure is that the longer you live, the more opportunities you have to gain experience and wisdom. Now, I know some of you thinking, okay, Captain Obvious, but hear me out, because if you never listen to anything else I say from this channel or any of my videos, I want to share something with you that I learned from a wise man back in 2002. And that's when he told me that growing old is inevitable, but growing up is optional. Now, I know plenty of fools who are in their 50s where you would think that, man, you should have lived long enough and had enough experiences and have enough wisdom to know that's stupid. But you have some individuals that it's like no matter what, they just cruise through life or never learn from their mistakes and their successes throughout their lifetime, and therefore causing them not to have anything valuable to pass on to anyone else, or that when they do speak, no one wants to hear what they have to say because it's like, man, I can't take this person seriously. The other thing I've learned from personal experiences, and also as well as hearing experiences from others, is that they're all different. And that from those experiences, I like to listen to people talk, and I like to hear people's backgrounds or experiences because it gives me a better understanding of who they are as an individual and why they may hold certain viewpoints that they hold. Also, what I've learned from those experiences, because I always tell people this whenever it comes to giving advice, and I've said this in a previous video too, is that whenever you give advice or you're going to take advice, understand that 99.9% of that advice is going to come from their own personal experiences. And therefore, even though it might be good advice, it might not be beneficial or apply to you. Or because of their experiences, you might say to yourself, you know what, that sounds great, but it doesn't necessarily work for me. That's why I try not to give specific advice, but I try to give general advice, even kind of like what I'm doing in this video. Because like I said, I want to be like a buffet. So it's like for some people, you're going to take everything I have to say. For some people, you might take bits and pieces. You got what you need, then you move on. I have two examples of a situation where you might hear what would work for somebody else, but it might not necessarily work for you. The first instance was when my first daughter was born. Because my wife was a stay-at-home mom and I had to work, in the middle of the night, if the baby would cry, she would pick the baby up and go out the room to calm the baby down. Now, mind you, I never asked my wife to do this, but she took it upon herself to do that because she said, since you have to work, I want you to be able to sleep at night. Now, of course, on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, all bets were off, but still, I mentioned that to a friend of mine. Well, when he had his first child and the baby was crying, he said something like that. So it was like, why don't you take the baby out the room so, I can sleep? And it got him punched in the head, literally. Then the second instance, but this one, don't worry, no one gets hurt in this one. But in the second instance was the time where, for anybody who's seen my very first video where I talked about the 4 most important attributes that you need for a healthy relationship, that when I asked people what they felt was the most important, everyone agreed that those 4 are important attributes to have. However, not everybody picked the same attribute as their number 1. See, as for me and my experiences, trust is number 1. I mean, for me, that's a no-brainer because I'm thinking to myself, if you don't have trust, you don't have anything else. Now, when it came to surveying other people, for example, my in-laws, for my mother-in-law, she said the most important attribute for her was friendship, which I couldn't really argue with her because of their experiences, and they're going on 52 years of marriage. So obviously something worked. But then when I was surveying people, the number 1 answer, believe it or not, wasn't trust, but it was communication. But I couldn't tell them, oh man, that doesn't make any sense, because based on their experiences, that's what they felt was most important to them. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys in this video, is that whenever someone's sharing their life experiences with you, even if you disagree with them, when someone's sharing their life experiences with you, sometimes just sit back, listen, saying, man, that was amazing. Because sometimes you could gain wisdom, you can gain experience, you can gain a different perspective that you might not have noticed before. But that's all I have for you guys this week. So as always, be wise. And until I see you guys next time, Have a great weekend.